ship was destroyed. Only 3 survivors crash-landed in their pods. Cowrie Wade, a settler, a colonist just 18. Rebecca Cain, 37, colonist. And Jonathan Craig, another colonist, age 32. They grabbed what meager possessions had landed with them. And then they set about making a home on this remote, forgotten Rimworld, planting crops, storing what little possessions they had, and sleeping. Planning their next move. Perhaps they could dig into the caves. Perhaps. They grew potatoes. In all weathers they grew potatoes, and they built. The hum of the thermal generator was like music to their ears. And they expanded. Their little colony. They're building a home. Where once there had been nothing but rocks and bushes, now there were buildings, beds. They were starting to believe that here, on this desolate world, they might find some kind of future. They worked tirelessly. They worked until they dropped 3 rooms for 3 survivors. They ate food from the ground. Survival meals that had crash-landed in the pods with them. They ate from the ground. Sometimes people visited and got bitten by squirrels. Run! Run, little, you settler. You're slightly impaired from a squirrel bite to the arm. Who knows, that might turn septic. Rebecca had a good idea. Guys, let's cut more trees. Let's build another room in case someone else decides to join us. And let's build a wall. And then we will continue to build. She was the hardest worker, the most cheerful. She felled trees, and then finally it fell upon her to name the colony. With a sense of irony, she called it Rimworld. But it wasn't so bad. They started to expand their colony. They built a roof to protect themselves from the elements. The rain, the fog, the cold. And of course, the other elements. Like the lightning that destroyed the thermal generator. Now that might get some people down, but not Rebecca Cain, no. No problem, she said, as she rolled up her sleeves. We built it before and we can build it again. No storm will be the end of us. And the others were lifted by her words. Through the storm, they fought. One day a man appeared called Kanga. He was a wild man, a hermit, and he attacked the colonists, for he knew not what he saw. He had never seen a building or a colony. He didn't know what he was looking at. Cowrie took a shot at him and fled inside to grab the others. Kanga was angered, and as the storm grew, so Kanga's anger grew. The 3 knew what they must do. They must kill Kanga, or subdue him. If they could subdue him, maybe he would join them. John shot first, then Cowrie. Rebecca said, "No, we must get closer, friends." She led the advance. Kanga tried to batter a door. John shot, Cowrie shot, but it was Rebecca who took the brunt of the blows from Kanga and finally felled him with a headshot. But Kanga lived. She carried him to a bed. They tried to talk to him. They nursed him back to health. And then, one day, when John was talking to him, Kanga started. And John fought back and he called for help. Help! Rebecca, Kanga's gone crazy. And Rebecca said, no problem, I've got this. And they beat him to death. He had his chance. They asked him to join. He would not. He was too wild. Dressed in just his tribal wear, he still fought on. What kind of man could join a colony? This selfless, this tireless, if his first thought when given a meal is to spit it in someone's face. Rebecca had the idea to clear the rubble and the rock faces in front of the gun emplacements, the temporary sentry guns that they'd built, to clear the line of fire should they be attacked again. In the back of her mind, she felt they would, and they were. This time, pirates and a squirrel, the squirrel they killed. The pirates, bandits with guns and evil intentions, 2 young women, silver, food, and guns. They dug in. As the bandits approached, John and Rebecca took shelter behind the sandbags. They knew what was coming. So did the pirates. Or perhaps not. The sentry guns were online. They were ready. Armed with only pistols and t-shirts, the bandits attacked. The guns opened up. Before they knew it, the attack was more or less over. One of the bandits was killed. The other 2 pressed on hesitantly. A man named Hanks tried to aim, was hit in the head and knocked out. Rebecca went to him. She's a good cook. I'm not sure why that's relevant, but she's a good cook. They worked on Hanks as they worked on the colony. They tried to talk him into it. They said, look, we're friends here. We didn't start the fire. You did. All we want is people who are willing to work and live together in peace and harmony. Will you help us? We haven't much food. We need hands to man the farm and cut the bushes. Finally, John said to Hanks, join us, and Hanks said something. He said, I'm sorry. And he joined them. 3 became 4. Hanks worked hard and fitted in easily. They sensed that perhaps he'd never had his heart in being a bandit. He was just a confused young man. He took to the potato fields and he brought in the harvest. They gave him a bed. And they said, Hanks, you are one of us. Welcome to Rimworld. And he laughed and smiled. For the first time in years. He said, hey, maybe we could build a cooking table. And Rebecca said, that's a great idea. And you know what else? Let's build a dining room. With tables. What else do we need? Chairs. Let's build chairs. 4 more will come. And they will see the good work we do here. And they will want to join us. And then, one day while they were working, there was a blinding flash of light and a sound like distant doom. Rebecca was busy working on the table. She said, that's weird. She turned to see if anyone else was around, but they weren't. No shouts, no alarm. She finished her work. She needed more wood, so she headed to the stockpile. And that's when she saw Cowrie. Cowrie was dead. Her body crushed. Rebecca did what she had always done. She set to work. She finished that dining room table. And she buried her friends. That night, she dreamt of a beautiful wooden floor and a desk. And she thought, why not? Why shouldn't I make the best of what I've got? And she built a cabinet. And she built that desk. And she said, yes. This may not be much of a home, but it's my home. And I may be alone. But not for long, for more will come. A traveling vessel signaled, but all they had was weapons for sale. Rebecca didn't need more guns. She wanted friends, but there were none. She toiled in the weather, in the lightning. She toiled. And she slept. She worked the potato field. And then one day, more men came. 3 men against 1 woman. What could 1 woman do? Rebecca knew. She could do a whole hell of a lot. She had the sentry guns. She had the sandbags. And by God, she had the determination to fight to the last. They may come and try and pillage, but she was fighting for her life. She was fighting for her colony and for her dead friends. She took up a position behind the rocks to catch them unawares as they tried to advance upon her position. Rebecca knew this was do or die. She was on her own now. She would fight to the last. Come on, Rebecca! You can do it!